Welcome! We are 9 little Aussies living in the USA, building a home where we all belong. Where gardens are cultivated, real food is celebrated, agrarian living is reclaimed, where we choose to walk with wonder and faith, eyes wide open to the beauty of life, where stories and rhyme are a tether that anchor our hearts to the ancient landmarks our fathers have left for our learning. And where all weary souls may find comfort and rest. It is a grand undertaking, perhaps, but a profoundly simple one. I invite you to join us as we reach for the stars with our feet firmly rooted in love and God's good earth. Hello, and welcome back to my little farm kitchen. I really hope that you guys had a beautiful, peaceful Christmas with your loved ones and New Year. Happy New Year. I just needed and took a few weeks just to rest, and I really just needed to pause, I guess, and life went on. It wasn't really a pause as far as workload goes, but with the YouTube channel, I needed to pause and renew my mind and refresh and just be ready to come back or not, depending on what I felt to do. And so it is a new year, and I'm actually really excited to be back and say hello to you all, and hopefully hear a little bit from you in the comments about how your Christmas season was. We had a beautiful Christmas. As many of you know, we did have a tragic loss in our family in October. So that made Christmas very different, and it was very happy, sad. So, but that's okay. You know, life does that in different seasons. But we are here again, and I am honestly really excited for the year ahead. I was struggling a little with that, and my husband and I like to take a day at the end of the year, sort of in that gap, you know, that gap between Christmas Day and New Year's Day. It's kind of this weird zone where nothing kind of happens, but I actually really enjoyed that time. It feels really restful mostly. And we took a day, a beautiful friend babysat the kids. We took a day and a half actually. And the other day, our second eldest did a wonderful job taking care of the kiddos. And just at first, the first part of it, we thought, okay, let's get in and plan and look at the year ahead and what do we want to do and what's going to happen. And I found it really kind of almost frustrating. Anyway, to get to the point, what we ended up doing that made all the difference, and I hope it can maybe encourage someone here, is we took some time and a big sheet of paper to do some reflecting and remembering 2025. And when we started that process, I thought, my goodness, it was a hard year and we don't have much to show for it. But that really wasn't true, and it shocked me when we looked back at what we found. So we're going to take a look at that today. It is a beautiful, cozy, wintry day. It's actually not that cold. I think this rainstorm that is coming through is bringing in some more cold weather, because we've been in the high 70s here for the last 10 days at least. Christmas was quite warm, and I think there's colder weather coming, but there's thunder rolling overhead and the rain is coming down, which my gardens will be very grateful for. So it feels kind of wintry again, and I'm cozying up with my beautiful candles that one of my sons bought me a whole pack of these candles. They're beeswax candles, and I love them so much, but I don't buy them very often because they are quite expensive. But I got some for Christmas, so I'm enjoying them today. So 2025, we looked back and thought, oh my goodness. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a little brief, this is what it was. And actually we got done a lot more, and not just done a lot more, but I think there was a lot of growth in 2025 and a lot of good, I'll just say that, as well as definitely a lot of hard. So it obviously pays to just take the time to look back, because I really didn't even realize these things until we went to putting them on paper. And then we'll have a look at what we've got ahead for 2026. So when we started, and the way we did this really is we just got on our phones and scrolled back through photos to try and remember, because trying to remember exactly what happened in 2025 at first, when we were just looking at it, was like, well, what even did we do? What even happened? But in January of 2025, we got Matilda. So that was big. That was really big. That was a huge answer to prayer, something that we have been wanting for years and years, our own milk cow. And it finally happened very, I want to say, I don't know, organically is kind of the wrong word, but it was just a divine thing, that it happened when it happened and how it happened. And we sort of got it through a friend, and it could have gone either way. When you have a situation like that, like she could have been a dud, but she was such a good cow. So that was like such a blessing. And then unbeknownst to us, so that happened in January, unbeknownst to us, she was in calf and dropped a calf in September. So now at the end of the year, we have a cow we didn't have. We also have a calf we didn't have. She's also a heifer calf, so we can keep her and hopefully, possibly use her as a second milk cow. So that was a wonderful thing. I also look back and I was thinking, 25 was such a hard gardening year. I did not have a good, I didn't have what I was hoping for as far as harvest. The tomatoes were a dismal mess. The beans we had a super wet summer, and a lot of things either drowned or molded. Like my green beans, I had a beautiful full harvest, what I thought was going to be full harvest of green beans. And we had weeks of heavy rain, and the entire bush molded. Like all of the pods, all of the flowers, a lot of the leaves even, they just got fully molded before they were ready. So no beans, no tomatoes. But then when I looked back, we did get some harvest. Obviously, I had a decent harvest with zucchinis and other squash. What are they called? Those little onions that I wasn't sure what they are. Some people said they might have been walking onions. But anyway, they've just kept on keeping on. Like I've still got them and we're still harvesting off them. The herb garden really got established. Perennials out the back. I have 8, I think I counted 8 perennials now that I didn't have last year that are established and going really well. So that's really nice to look and see, oh, well, okay. So the garden wasn't as successful as I was hoping, but there are some good things that happened as well. So the perennials that are there now are elderberry, comfrey, yarrow, what were they? I'm going to forget them all now. Tulsi, I counted 8 when I was doing it. Bananas, I don't know if you count them really because it is too cold here for them to actually fruit, but they do come back every year and provide good compost material. So anyway, I can't remember what the others are, but it was 8, so that was good. And we did a lot of establishing of new garden beds, and that was a lot of work, and it's done now. Like, we have to top them up, but having said that, my husband and I were looking yesterday and planning another one, but it'll just keep growing and steadily get a little bit easier, hopefully. Because topping up a garden bed and recomposting it is a completely different ball game to establishing it from lawn, you know. So that was a win. What else did I write? And there's some of these things are not like homestead goals necessarily or homestead occurrences, but we're really big in our life. So Jared, our second born, graduated in May. That's a big deal. Isaiah, our eldest, came home to stay from Australia and decided to stay in October. That's a big deal. Those are 2 of the huge things that happened for us last year. I did my 100 days of homesteading challenge and got through to the end, as hard as that was. It was also a lot of fun, and it's really nice to be able to look back and see all of that we were able to document in those 100 days. So that feels like an achievement. What else did we? Oh, we've got a new fridge. This has just happened since I had a little rest from the YouTube channel, but we were gifted somebody's old fridge, which we were really struggling for fridge space, especially with a cow and milk, and a micro bakery and all of the things. So we got a second fridge at the back that we've got in the garage now. Maple had kittens, so we've got had new babies on the farm. Another really big thing for us, not a homesteading goal, probably the next biggest thing, is our younger 4 children. We discovered a local homeschool co-op and joined it and made some amazing friends, both for me and for the children. And that was such a godsend, just so needed for them especially. But I've really enjoyed it too. So that was definitely a big win in 2025. I started consistently milling my own flour and really incorporating that into our everyday life. So that's a big win. We did get new egg layers. We got a good potato harvest. Oh, we got a new lawnmower that was a ride-on mower. That's another game changer that happened last year, because until then, we were mowing this very, like, as far as lawn space, large property with a push mower. And it was crazy, especially when you know how fast the grass grows in East Texas. It was crazy. So the first 1.5 to 2 years of being here without a ride-on mower was really tough, especially on my husband and the kids who did all of that work. It was just basically someone had to be pushing that mower every day to stay on top of it, because there's our front yard, our backyard, Nini and Papa's yard, which is actually quite big. It's like more like a paddock than a yard, and the paddock on that side. So that's a lot. That's a lot. What else? Oh, with the bakery, we did our first farmers market, and then the Catfish Festival, which both went really well, but that was a brand new thing we'd never tried before. And our friends from Australia, this was a huge highlight, was the Rodders came to visit. Talk about just a warm hug when you needed it. That's what their visit was. Such a boost to our spirits. It was just perfect. And the timing was completely divine with my sister-in-law's accident, and they were here at the time. And yeah, that was just I love being able to look back and see the fingerprints of God in your everyday, and in the good as well as the hard. It's so worth looking back and finding those things and writing them down, because we have a way of forgetting. I don't know, like the more I was thinking, oh, I understand how the Israelites got a hard time for forgetting all the good things God had done. But I don't know that we're any better. We tend to forget. So yeah, that was really cool. We went to Dollywood and I met a lot more of my husband's family, American family, his cousins, and his aunties and uncles I had met before because they had come to Australia, but all of their children I had never met. So made a lot more family connections, and we went to Dollywood, which was amazing. We had Thanksgiving with our friends Jess and Jeremiah in South Carolina, which was a beautiful trip. Oh, that reminds me, I gotta show you something. Hang on. Okay, so I noticed I was a little behind. I really like to watch Roots and Refuge Farm, which is Jess's channel, my friend Jess. But I don't always have time to watch them all. And I had gotten a little behind, and I did a little catch up the other day, put my feet up on the couch, and I was with the kids. Anyway, we were watching one, and I was like, she had mentioned on there, I think it was her right before New Year's one, and she was talking about how we went there for Thanksgiving, and she watched me do, because I made a lot of the breads for Thanksgiving, and she was like, you know, sometimes just watching someone gives you the confidence to go ahead and do it. And she's been doing her fresh milled bread, which is wonderful, right? But I was thinking, oh, that's so funny, because I didn't know that her watching me do that while she was cooking at the same time, because we're doing a Thanksgiving dinner. It wasn't like a lesson really, but just doing it together in the kitchen. And I didn't realize that had made an impact or helped in any way. And at the same time, that weekend, a few days that we were there, I sat down next to her one day while she was crocheting, and she taught me in about 10 minutes how to crochet. I had done a tiny bit like 21 years ago when our eldest was a little baby, and I couldn't figure it out, and I got so frustrated. I would do little bits, and then I'd forget what I learned, and I was trying to teach myself out of a book that I found at Spotlight, which is like the Aussie version of Hobby Lobby, I guess. And there was this little pamphlet that I was reading and trying to teach myself. And I just obviously don't learn very well that way. But watching Jess, she gave me a couple lessons and got me started. And I've been working on this ever since. And now it's kind of big. So this is my, oh, there goes my hook. So it's like a granny square that never ends. It just like, she said this might be one of the simplest ways for you to learn, and you don't have to like join anything together at the end. Like you just keep going. So I'm so excited about it, and it's still going. I'm on my third ball of yarn. I'm just going to go till this finishes, however big that is. But isn't that fun? So yeah, Jess definitely got me into crocheting, and I'm just loving it. It's so much fun, and it's so relaxing. When I tried to teach myself 21 years ago, it was not relaxing. It was really stressful, and I felt completely incapable. So yeah, watching her doing it, and then her like handing me the hook, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. There's just something about having a one-on-one mentor teacher, even if it was just like, I don't know, it was probably longer than 10 minutes, might have been 30 minutes, but makes a big difference. So that's the other thing I did in 2025 was learnt to crochet. Hoping to do a lot more little projects, because this is the only one I've done so far. It's getting a bit big to drag around to basketball practice. So I need to start a new something. Yeah, so we had that trip. Also a big change, something that happened last year was our 15-year-old starting at public school and playing basketball, lots of big changes there, and him having that whole new experience. And yeah, he just loves basketball. So that's been a great opportunity for him, and changed a whole lot of things in the way we had to, like the day-to-day of how we did things, but that's been good. And then, yeah, there were some hard things too. Yeah, the passing, unexpected, very no one saw coming, tragic passing of my sister-in-law was one of those things. Poor health for my in-laws. So yeah, some hard things, but also some really good things. And I'm really glad we took the time to kind of look back before we looked forward and really make a note of those things. We wrote them down. We're like, okay, we need to talk to the kids and tell them what we found when we did look back, because it can be discouraging when you're going through some hard years and some tough times, to be able to actually pause and see the little details of God's blessings. So yeah, take the time to look back. Very worthwhile. So looking forward, after we did that, thinking about the year ahead, and I honestly did toy with the idea of not doing the YouTube channel. I guess I keep doing that, don't I? I keep coming back to that because it just feels like I'm juggling a lot of balls. But that's the other thing that I did last year, is started an online book club, which was a lot of fun. And that kind of is important because it leads into this coming year and my thoughts about the year. And in some ways, nothing is changing, but it might look a little different. I am wanting to share a little bit more of the fullness of who I am that's beyond just the homesteading, but it's very much tied into it. And that is, I would say, a lifelong deep love of literature and stories, and particularly old stories. I feel like that has really formed and shaped the way I think and who I am. And it actually really informs a lot of what we do on the homestead in a very, very simple but profound way. I have redone the introduction to Nine Little Aussies YouTube channel, and I'm probably going to put that at the beginning of every video just to give a little, very small little snapshot of what I'm all about. But I'm excited about it. It's not going to change a lot. Like, I'm still going to be baking, I'm still going to be gardening, learning more and more about preserving and how to go back to these simple agrarian ways of living, and teaching those to our children. Like, all of that is still really important and not changing. But maybe I'm just going to open the window a little bit into some of what fuels that in me. And to be honest, a lot of that has been a lot of the books I've read, even from unexpected places. Because you can look at old books like perhaps Little House on the Prairie and think, oh yeah, I can see how that life could be sort of motivating. That story could be motivating what we're doing now. And that would make complete sense, right? But it also comes from what might seem unexpected places. And I do not profess to be like a literature professor or a highly, highly read person, like some people that I like to learn from and listen to in podcasts that have these amazing reading lives that I can only dream about. My life is very, very busy with raising my family, homeschooling, homesteading, it's a busy life. And so I do really, you know, like when you talk about homesteading on the edges of life, reading is on the edges of the edges. So it's very much limited. But I do read aloud a lot for school. And one of the benefits of that is you can sneak in books that I've been really wanting to read that are really wonderful for the children to have read. So I am reclaiming my education while educating my children. So I'm not professing to be some whiz at this or anything like that. I'm just someone who loves old books and whose life and thoughts are often shaped by the authors and stories that have moved me as I have, when opportunity has arisen, dove into those books. So whether it be George MacDonald, whose writing just moves me very deeply. I think this all started, well, maybe it started with Pooh Bear, because my mum, all through my childhood, was quoting Now We Are Six, all of those poems, and James Morrison, Weatherby, George Dupree took very good care of his mother, although he was only 3. Like, she said that so many times and is like embedded in my mind. And Pooh Bear and all of his beautiful thoughts. But then when I was 15, I read The Lord of the Rings and I was completely mesmerized by Tolkien. And I still love those books. But then I have more recently discovered Wendell Berry, who obviously has a lot of similar leanings to that of someone who's in the homesteading world. But that's just, C.S. Lewis I love. I love to read him. But that's, you know, there is, I love Charles Dickens. I think I never used to. And then I read, I struggled through Great Expectations. I could see the beauty in it, but I struggled. And then I read A Tale of Two Cities and it undid me. It was just so powerful. And it was beautiful. And so those stories, and then understanding them more. One of the things I'll just tell you right now, I am a big fan of the Literary Life podcast run by Angelina Stanford and Thomas Banks, and Cindy Rollins. That's how I found them, because Cindy Rollins is a homeschooling mum. She, I think, had 8 boys and a daughter. So I had a lot of ways in which I related to her. She has her own podcast as well called The New Mason Jar. But I was listening to her way before she had that. But anyway, that's sort of just part of the picture, but I digress. One of the things that all of those things somehow, like, they really do. There is something about reading old stories that is a way of remembering the past, a way of tethering our souls to all that our fathers have learned. It's like it says in the scripture that these things were written for our learning. And I'm not saying I read these old books trying to find truths, because you will find it's not didactic like that. It's much more organic, and I don't even really know how to articulate it, truthfully. I just know that they've changed me, and that the Lord seems to use them to show me things about myself, about humanity, about the world around me, and widen my view out of my little bubble. It has just been such a gift, such a gift. So that is a really big part of me and who I am. And I wanted to, I guess, show a little bit more of the fullness of that in my channel. So it's not like we're going to dive into book studies or anything, but I might share a little more of what I have learned over the years to do. When I come across a passage in a book, or it might just be a group of words, or it might be a whole paragraph that really moves me, I will write it down in a little book that I keep by my bed. It's apparently a very old practice. It's called Keeping a Commonplace Book. And I have been doing it now for many years. And I am not like super organized with it or faithful with it. Like, I do have a lot of books where I've underlined stuff and never got around to putting it in my commonplace book. But nevertheless, I'm still glad I've done it, because it is, I really enjoy looking back at it and then thinking and remembering, oh yes, I must reread that one day. I loved that book. Or not necessarily wanting to reread everything, but just to enjoy again that sentence that moved me, or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to share with you today a quote that definitely did that. Tolkien wrote this. Speaking of Rivendell, which is the house of the elves, that house was a perfect house. Whether you like food or sleep or storytelling or singing or just sitting and thinking best, or a pleasant mixture of them all, merely to be there was a cure for weariness, fear, and sadness. I have that quote in a frame on my little hutch. I'll show you actually. That my friend Shelley, who is a new friend, another one of those wonderful new friends I made last year, she gave it to me for my birthday, and it just moved me to tears to have something so beautiful that means so much to me framed so beautifully as a gift. What a beautiful gift. But that, and the one I have put up in the intro, which I'll read this full quote. The full quote is not in the intro. For a while, the hobbits continued to talk and think of the past journey and of the perils that lay ahead. But such was the virtue of the land of Rivendell that soon all fear and anxiety was lifted from their minds. The future, good or ill, was not forgotten, but ceased to have any power over the present. Health and hope grew strong in them, and they were content with each good day as it came, taking pleasure in every meal and in every word and song. That's from the Fellowship of the Ring. And that right there is how I feel like these stories speak to me, and how I want to live my life right now. How I want our homestead and our home to look. I want it to be a Rivendell. I want it to be, we are very Hobbit-like in our desires. We love stories, we love songs, and we love gardens and sitting by a cozy fire eating good food. So I don't know whether we'd fit better in the Shire, or maybe the other book that really does that for me is The Wind of the Willows, and Ratty and Mole, and hiding away in the den by the river in the wintertime. So anyway, there you go. That's what I am thinking, and that's what I am planning for 2026, is to just share a little bit more of that stuff with you guys as we garden and cook and milk the cow and do all the things that go along with this simple homesteading life. So let me know what you think. Do you think I'm cray-cray? Are you up for it? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. We'll have a chat about it. But that's just who I am, and I have shared a lot of my my gardening life and my cooking life and little bits of my mothering and homeschooling life, but this is just something I feel like I want to include moving forward. So I look forward to hearing from you. I do hope you're having a wonderful day. Sunshine and raindrops, friends, and I'll see you soon.